Welcome to Zero to Hero episode 2, and let me show you something that you might not have known. If you finish a calamity and then discover a new calamity, you can assign project aids. These project aids give you a higher chance of getting their specific policies, meaning more affinity. So you should always put your main affinity target, like for example for me personally Malin, as a project aid, just so you have that higher chance of getting a policy related to that unit. So, what have we done in the meantime? Number one, I farmed maybe 3 or 4 runs. Honestly, not that many. So, what have we done since episode 1? I farmed around 3 dungeons worth of memory fragments for the Justice and the Defense set due to it helping both Kalib and Mika. I was kind of trying to make up for that mistake of us crafting a Justice goblet rather than an Instinct goblet. Didn't really yield anything. It's all kind of still the same. And so I just spent some stamina there because otherwise I would have just overcapped. So whenever you're close to overcapping, just spend the stamina. There's no need to min-max perfect everything. Build-wise, I don't think anything else crazy has changed. For now, we still have a double blue. We still have our legendary amulet right here. We have our legendary amulet on our Kalib. We still have this abomination. And we have our defense percent maxed out. Same as here with the defense percent maxed out. We do, I guess we've equipped a legendary, defense goblet. Right? So it's either between this one or justice damage. And honestly, I think HP might just be the way to go for Mika. And then we also have some HP here. So should we find like an HP necklace thing, we might just equip that one. But besides that, we're still in a 3-piece, 3-piece, and a 2-piece. So yeah, that's kind of like the overview. We just finished another save data run. So let's see if we can find it somewhere here. I don't think it was a particularly good one. Yeah, I think it's this one. We just got 3 Greatsword Aquilers for some reason. So after every boss fight, we found some Greatsword Aquilers. And for our Malin, we mainly were able to buy 1 Sacred Strike. No, I think that's not quite it. It should be a difficulty 3 one. Double Rising Dragon Spire. No, yeah, I think it was this one. So the 5th. So we just duplicated attacker defense. We do have the move verification, or the move variant, which is very important because the difference between moving and drawing is drawing. You can never draw a card you've played this turn again if the prefix is draw, but if it says move, you can do that. So for example, if I were to hit a basic attack and that goes into the discard pile and I try to get it with a draw basic attack, I cannot get it, but if I use the move basic attack card, it comes back to hand. So the important distinction here between move and draw. So yeah, there's that. We got a decent enough save data. But no, the important start for today is we have a pretty solid base. We just beat our 3rd ever planet. And we are already on our way to difficulty 7. That's kind of how far, as fast that it can go, right? So what we really only did is we just reroll the 48 planet, beat the 48 planet, got a 51 planet, beat the 51 planet, reroll the 58 planet, beat the 58 planet, got a 61 planet. So that is today's goal. We want to beat the level 61 planet, make it into difficulty 7, and then roll a planet that is close to potentially already difficulty 8. And the main reason for that is so that we can start using our stamina properly, as in get 2 to 3 legendary drops. So that is kind of the goal. I think we'll probably cut a little bit together of like interesting scenarios happening during the chaos runs and maybe like explaining the thought process instead of like showing you like a full run. So you at least have something to look at, and maybe you'll be able to take something away from this. So enjoy. Tip number 1, as always, make sure you buy yourself some food. The most all-around food, especially if you have a crit chance necklace already on your units, is the 5% defense, 10% crit damage, because it combines defensive capabilities and shield and heals with offensive capabilities in more crit damage. So now that we have that out of the way, we can once again head into the zero system. For those of you that wanted to know, where do you check food? It is down here. It's this yellow icon. If this one is lit up, that means you have food. You can also click on it to see if you do or don't. And we're once again going to play outside of the nightmare mode, because for now, honestly, we're not here to farm save data. We're here to, yeah, make our way towards proper stamina progression, I guess. So this divine guy is someone you unlock with chaos orbs, and overall here, choice-wise, usually getting an epiphany can help you just have an easier time with the fights, and also means that you're more likely to get a like card-specific epiphany, because when you already have a bunch of epiphanies out, you don't need to get cards for the character, you can then get the epiphanies. But you can also take the credits. The credits could then be used to, for example, let's say, yeah, remove some cards at the shop or something like that. And that's also one of our reasons why we aren't picking it yet, and that is because we don't yet have the 5 free refreshes, so we don't need our coins as much as if we had them. Overall here, you can take this 1 anemia curse, but you get 1 random legendary piece of equipment. This one, it depends, right? Like if your team has a bunch of standard cards that you don't care about, that you would sell anyway, pick this one. But if your team has any like neutral cards that you care about, like for example like a Mei Lin, you don't want to take that risk, because otherwise if one of your strikes gets changed, or for example on a Rin, if one of her stance enter cards get changed, you're looking at a tough time. So just this one is actually quite decent, depending on if you want to get rid of these basic cards at the end anyway. So yeah, I think we're just gonna, I don't think we need the healing, so we're just gonna go with the curse. I'm kind of used to playing with a bunch of curses anyway, so we should be fine. This one is a damage increasing ring, so we just put it on our DPS. Alright, then I guess let's talk about my pathing idea, right? What kind of rules do I follow in determining where I want to go? So my main goal is always to make sure I get the most amount of question marks as possible, while encountering the least amount of useless campfires. So if you do it properly, you're never gonna get any value out of a campfire unless there's a shop. You really only want to go for a campfire if there's a shop. And if the campfire does have a shop and you're broke, you also don't want to go there unless you really need like the stress reduction. But keep in mind, it's only a -5, max stress value is 50, so it's only like a 10% stress reduction, which usually doesn't end up being all that worth it. So right here, for example, we could start here at the bottom, get another question mark, then we have an elite and another question mark. Then we could swap over to another elite, do another question mark, and continue. In general though, the question mark events in the interior are way more valuable than the exterior. So what we're talking about is the first part of a map usually tends to have epiphanies for your cards, so that you get a character epiphany, right? Let's say Mei Lin gets her special moves, Khalib gets her special move, Mika gets her special move, maybe you get a little bit of gear, maybe some legendary stuff. Maybe the ability to remove some cards, which is quite valuable. But in the interior, after beating the first boss, that's where you're going to find the godly epiphanies, the oh, you can copy a card, all these like really fancy events that have like a high value. So you don't always have to go for question marks if you're in the first area, but it usually just works out for the best, honestly, most of the time. So for choices like these, where you have, for example, get a card, get an item, get an epiphany, and get max HP can be incredibly powerful in giving you more survivability, because even though when even a mind break happens, you still have more base HP than if you don't have any like max HP increases. Like for example, we would go up by 170 health, which is quite a lot. Or here, specifically on the bug planet, these curses are incredibly debilitating, like for example reducing all our damage by 20%, but they have the remove tag. Out of all the curses on the bug planet are probably the weakest, due to you being able to get rid of them without having to sell them at a shop or anything they like, because you just have to play them in fights. So bug curses, I don't really think you need to take those too seriously, honestly. And yeah, I guess then yeah, let's continue. Alright, as we've talked about a couple of seconds ago, the effect to remove cards can be incredibly powerful, due to you only being able to remove, let's say, 3 or 4 cards through a shop. And with these events, you can just start really like clearing out cards that you don't need anymore. A couple prime targets are always Mika's Water Arrow, Mika's Whirlpool, for someone like a Mei Lin, getting rid of one of the shield skills. It usually tends to be like most characters make good use of all their unique cards, so it usually tends to be removing basic attack cards from pretty much anybody possible. Like for a Veronica, you kind of want to get rid of these basic attacks because the ballista chance isn't as reliable. Or for example, for somebody else, like, let's see if we can think of someone. Like for example, even for Ray, the benefit you gain from playing the heal card isn't as big as, for example, if you were to just keep the strikes, so that her increased basic attack damage has more of effect, or you could do the reverse and you could get rid of her basic attacks so that you have more skill cards or less attack cards. So it usually tends to be any combination of 1 or 2 basic cards getting removed for pretty much each character to shorten your deck and increase the chance of pulling high value cards. I guess on the note of duplicating cards, I would always either go with like the win con of your main DPS or anything close to like the most value possible. Like for example, how Ray has a card where you can exhaust cards and draw more cards. You could technically go for the AP card on Mika, or even here this deck search card for cards related to Khalib's highest cost cards, and it's just for the best. And especially things like Spirit of Aramata. Not necessarily, right? I'll make a video. I'll make a video later today about like the best, I guess, copy targets. And yeah, we shall see. Enjoy that. I think on the note of gear, we are now on difficulty 7, or I guess making the promotion match, and we're already getting offered 2 legendary pieces. I think it's something we can accept, especially because there's a nice Blackwing Goblet here that could be very useful for us later down the line. And I mean, okay, I guess Spark of Passion doesn't really fit the bill, but I need to get rid of some of my stamina. Alright, so let's talk second stage buffs. Overall, the cheerful one is the most simplistic, due to you mainly only needing that 1 extra AP at the start of every turn if you're fighting an elite or a boss. Sympathy, it kind of depends. If you have a rather slow comp or a comp that expects to take a bunch of hits, this could bite you in the ass, but keep in mind the bonus here is this can work in question mark areas as well as also against normal fighting areas. And then the middle one is kind of, I guess, like I wouldn't really see why you pick Possession over Cheerful and Sympathy. And then out of the other ones, there's also some notable ones like the, I think it's called Wounded or something. What it does is it adds a Wounded card into your deck, but you draw 1 extra card every turn. That thing is incredibly powerful, and so long as you run a Mika and you have a half decent AP gen, you're always going to a degree, have more AP than you know where to spend it on in like 90% of scenarios. So it gives you 1 wound, 1 useless card, but you do draw turn 1. And for every turn after, you're just gaining bonus card after bonus card after bonus card, just giving you more options of things to play during your turn. I think those are kind of like the major ones you should be on the lookout for. Then there's also Passion. If you are running Mei Lin, the Passion buff, the basic attacks now hit twice one, can be really useful, especially combined with the ultimate. You then have a triple hitter every basic attack. So that's something. But I think those are probably the major ones. Alright, so we just beat an event that is going to give us a Divine Epiphany, and let me show you a quick trick on how you can identify a card that is or isn't epiphanied. So first on Ravage, I don't really like this one, we probably go with the crit chance one. So what you want to do is you just head into your cards. So after heading into your cards, you can check out the first 3. You know the basic attack, the basic heal, basic shield. Those can never get epiphanied, and then you're just looking for icons. So for example, you see how, let's just make it like this, right? You see how there's no icon below any of these, but there's an icon here. This means it's an epiphany. If a card already has an icon, it cannot get epiphanied in the future. So for example, for us, it could have been any of these skills. Obviously the purple skills themselves can't get an epiphany. So it was for us a 1, 2, 3, 4 for Mei Lin, whereas our Khalib already only had the Khalib had no skills open. You can see every skill has an icon, and then it was for Mika having 2 skills open. So it was a 2 versus 4 to see which skill is going to get the Divine Epiphany, so you can kind of like know your odds on if apply like an Epiphany to a random card, apply Divine Epiphany to a random card, you can kind of like check your odds quick. Alright, now I guess something that's not always something you can influence, but when the chance, shows itself, it can be of big use. And that is, for example, take a look at my Khalib. My Khalib has almost full stress bar, is at least close to full, and we're only fighting one enemy. Obviously, it depends on which kind of enemy you're facing, but you find yourself in scenarios where you could, for example, instead of trying to kill the guy turn 1, find a way to, I guess you could say stall it out, right? Kind of get your damage in, get some healing in, and then just, because you know the mind break is coming, you can then just wait in this fight. Like, I mean, let's see. See, for example, right here, this is obviously a weird example, but I'm going to try and not kill the guy, so that we can then get Khalib's mind break, and then we can get Khalib, or already at least start working on getting Khalib out of the mind break, so that we don't go into a fresh fight with the full mind break. Like, for example, here with the 2 out of 5s is actually pretty good. We look at him, currently he doesn't even attack us, so that's another turn we can skip right here, which gives us the chance to hopefully draw another card. There we go, so we're now already 3, and this damage is obviously too much, right? There's no reason for us to take that much damage, but now we're already 3 out of 5, and we can go with a little bit more confidence into the next fight. Alright, we've made it to the copy event, and as much as it's like annoying to take the 2 debuffs, if you want to make truly strong decks, or even if you just want to boost your success in like the final boss fight, in like 90% of cases, cloning a card is like the way to go to make it happen, or copying a card, because not only do you increase the chance of getting that card after finishing your run, you also just get the biggest power spike, right? Because every character has like one card that's significantly better than from like a different unit. So yeah, I'd probably always go with the option to copy a card rather than anything else. Now we have the option to delete another card, and at that point we might as well get rid of anemia. And as you can see, we just only now have the 2 curses from copying a card, because you're really that, like, it's that easy. It's that easy to get rid of these curses on this bug planet right here. Let's do a final refresh. I guess here we could even buy this one. Not that we have anything that's like worth buying. I mean, I guess energy barrier on a Khalib as well. Good enough. And on to the final boss we go. But yeah, I mean, just looking at like the experiences that you have playing through this bug planet, if you're not using Khalib, I wouldn't recommend doing this planet at all, because you're gonna have a lot of trouble with really making sure everything dies, especially because if there's like these flying enemies, they only get stunned after a certain amount of hits, so single target, unless you have like 100 hits, it's way more effective to just hit them multiple times for AoE. Alright, so here we are getting towards the end of the fight. Things I've noticed with this bug fight in general, I mean, it seems like you don't have to kill her minions. If you like can push her below that HP threshold, she's gonna like auto kill her minions. But outside of that, it's just kind of like a, have enough AoE, bring some single target, and make sure you don't die. But yeah, no, you can just, you can get massive amounts of shields. Like, there is a significant difference in your success chance between having and not having properly upgraded defensive values on, let's say, someone like Emika. So let's see what we can copy. Another rally again. I don't know if I want 3 rallies, but hey, we've already worked so much on this Khalib build during this run, we might as well, continue working on it. And on break, 100% damage. On break, 100% damage to the next one attack card used. We don't really have the space. I guess we can get rid of the mail-in one. And then, Line of Justice and the Feather. That is actually loot we're going to take. So yeah, we've made it successfully into into difficulty 7. And I mean, otherwise, if you really have Khalib, I recommend the the desert planet. If not, you can pick any like another planet, like the green one. If you have Hugo, works really well. Even if you're just running Tresor, just picking the purple one is to your advantage. And yeah, blue pot, you just kind of you need a very solid single target comp if you want to succeed in blue pot. Preferably something that also runs attack cards, otherwise you like have a weakness somewhere. So here we have a level 64 planet. We could once again go with this one, because not only is it level 64, it's also only green. And the interesting part about this is we only need to clear a planet on level 66 to make it into difficulty 7. So this might already be again our promotion opportunity planet. Though at this point I'm getting a little annoyed at the fact that we only have to play the yellow planet. But even with, as you can see it right here with us refreshing, we're really not getting any other high level planets anyway. So hey, maybe that is our fate, maybe that's what we're meant to do. So let's check out the gear as like the last part of this video and see what we gained. So we got a void damage goblet, so we could use this on our Rin. We have a attack, crit chance, defense percent with health, line of justice one. That's actually kind of nice. We can probably use it on our Khalib. A critical chance anomaly from the passion set. Okay. I mean, we'll at least test level it. Ooh. It has attack fed, it has crit damage. Maybe if we ever run the passion set, this is going to be our piece. This is a bit of a dud. If this was attack percent, we would actually have a good piece. And this is just attack percent with extra damage, crit chance, and crit damage. Hey, if at any point in the future the devs are like, okay, yeah, sure, here, attack is the way to go, we have this piece to put onto our Haru, because keep in mind the set effect of this is 20% crit chance. We don't even have a Haru, but the set effect of this is 20% crit chance, which means we don't need the crit chance main stat as much, even though it's just better to continue stacking crit really. And yeah, that's kind of our haul, that's kind of our day. I hope you were again able to take something away from this, and as always we see each other in the next one. Peace.